Before we proceed to hearing, on the assumption that both complaints will be declared sufficient in substance tomorrow, then we will be issuing the necessary notice to the respondent for her to file her answer. That is within the period of 10 session days from date, 10 calendar days, 10 calendar days from receipt of the notice, no? And then from the time of receipt by the complainant of the answer of the respondent, she will be given a period of 3 calendar days to file her reply. And then from receipt by the respondent of the reply of the complainant, the respondent again will be given a period of 3 calendar days to file her rejoinder, no? So during this time, we will be allowing as well the submission of evidence, including the swearing in of the affidavits and counter affidavits, because that should happen before the Justice Committee. About the question as to when the hearings will be held, no? This will definitely happen after the Holy Week because we need to provide time for the responsive pleadings. You heard me already. We will be anticipating answer and then reply and then rejoinder, no? 10:33. Tapos we have to give allowance pa to the time, the day, or the period on which the same will be delivered to the proper recipient, no? We are not certain if on the same day of issuance, madi-deliver na ba yan sa respondent. So, we need to provide allowance as to the period during which the same must be served to the proper recipient, no?
So, sorry po. So technically, of course, baka advance po mag-isip, pero kung after Holy Week break, ma'am, definitely during recess po mangyayari yung hearing proper. Tama po ba?
As I have said, my statement is on the assumption only. In case that these two impeachment complaints will be declared as sufficient in substance, yes, I confirm that the hearing proper will happen after the Holy Week. So this will probably start the second week of April.
For clarification po, may binabanggit po kasi last time si Congresswoman De Lima, ma'am, na kailangan daw pong habulin yung sine die adjournment. Para lang po mas malinaw, paano po ba yung dapat na mangyari? Pagka po ba lumampas ng sine die, mababaliwala po ba yung articles of impeachment kung hindi po maitatransmit sa Senate for as an impeachment court?
Hindi naman. Ano naman po yan eh. Ang important naman po, matapos po yung proceedings within 60 session days. No? So kung ang tinitingnan po natin ay April proceedings, I'm quite certain by around May, tapos na, we can vote on it at the level of the committee. At if it proceeds from the committee, then it proceeds to plenary. So tingin ko naman po, aabot po naman po yun before sine die adjournment.
Kong Bell, tsaka Kong Terry, siguro reaction lang po dun sa nangyari kanina kay Representative Suntay. Kasi kanina si Congresswoman Bell may binabanggit na syempre National Women's Month po ngayon. Tapos may mga remarks po siya kanina with regards to the so-called imagination lang po. Kindly elaborate lang po if you have any.
Well, I think everyone heard what he said. First, there's no need for such comments in any hearing, anywhere. We were discussing the last impeachment allegation. Bakit po niya kailangan magbigay ng ganong example involving an actress, a woman, you know, maski sino pa yun? Bakit po ako nag-react to have it stricken from the records? It was offensive. It was uncalled for. It was irrelevant. And it was very unbecoming of a congressman. for him to do that. So, pinapaalalahanan po natin ang ating mga kasama na hindi po dapat nagsasalita ng ganon. It's actually very timely that happened today, lalong kakaumpisa lang po ng National Women's Month. In fact, it's an international celebration. March is Women's Month. Kaya po, hindi dapat sinasabi ang mga ganong statements.
To Congresswoman Luis po, susugan ko lang yung tanong po. Do we just have reminders to committee members? Kasi since yesterday, parang merong mga talagang manifestations, either irrelevant or as Congresswoman said, offensive. And napapahaba talaga yung deliberations because of these irrelevant remarks. So what's your reminder po as we proceed to the last day of deliberations?
The reminder is simply to focus on the subject matter of the impeachment, no? Definitely, we've been very prompt on that to call the attention of the justice members who are going outside already the supposed discussion of the impeachment proceeding. I understand that they have in mind various allegations which they can probably raise, but as I have said this morning, if they have concerns, they should be raised or articulated in other forum, and definitely not in the forum of the impeachment proceeding, because this should hear only matters concerning the impeachment complaints against the Vice President.
Ma'am, dito po. Good afternoon. Medyo lengthy lang po yung discussion kanina on ultimate responsibility of the Vice President in disbursing the confidential funds. You were all present during the inquiry last Congress of Kong Chua's panel on this, and you have made your positions there. I just want to know if your position, do you think, given what was revealed during the House Good Government panel inquiry and the discussions a while ago, do you think the Vice President is ultimately responsible in disbursing the 612.5 million of confidential funds po?
First of all, as chairperson of the Justice Committee, I do not vote, no? The only occasion when I am allowed to vote is in cases of tie. With regards to whether the appreciation during the investigation in the good government and the deliberation now in the Justice Committee will result to the same conclusion or mindset that is for the members of the Justice Committee to judge, because they will be the one to vote tomorrow on the sufficiency in substance.
Yung mga mag-vote po, at least. Parang, what is your position, sir? Kasi medyo lengthy yung discussion doon eh. Yung ultimate responsibility. Do you think the Vice President is ultimately responsible for the disbursement
No, we just have
of the
to talk.
confi funds?
We just have to talk about the defense of some of the congressmen as to the disbursement, signing of the disbursement vouchers and yung attestation. Ang sabi nila, it is merely ministerial. Hindi ho totoo yun eh. Every signature in a disbursement voucher, attestation, ano ho yun? It is a judgment, it is a discretion of the person who holds office, particularly the head of office. No, I know it because I headed an office. No, so ibig sabihin, kaya nga we can see in Sandigan Bayan cases, di ba? Each and every signatory in a bidding document, kahit yung simple yung kahera, simple yung accountant, nasasakdal ho sila eh. Doon po sa mga kaso, including heads of agencies, including heads of BACs, Bids and Awards Committees. Kasi nga, it is not merely a ministerial power or ministerial act, kundi meron po actual na pananagutan doon pagka po may pirma po tayo. So, if the Vice President actually signed into an attestation relating to the use of confidential funds, I think she has to be made accountable for that. No? So, yun po yung mga pag-inog ng mga talakayan kanina. And tomorrow, we will see what the vote of the committee members will be.
Si Kong Bell po. Baka meron siya.
Well, I agree with Kong Terry. Of course, we were there in the investigation and the proceedings last term, last 19th Congress. So we saw the signatures, we saw the vouchers. We were, in fact, part of the prosecution in the failed impeachment. So personally, I saw that there's truth to the allegations and that it was not merely a ministerial duty on her part.
Thank you po.
Meron po dun sa mga impeachment allegations na pinagtalunan kung nasa jurisdiction ba ng House Justice Committee. For example, yung disbursement po ng confidential funds ng DepEd ng si BP pa ang secretary noon. Ang impeachment po ay pagbobotohan in its entirety. So what will happen dun po sa mga impeachment allegation na sinasabing o pinagdedebatehan pa na wala sa jurisdiction ng House Justice Committee? May isasama pa rin po ba yun sa hearing proper?
As pronounced before we started the hearing in the Justice Committee, and as you have said, the sufficiency in substance will be voted upon on the basis of the entire impeachment complaint. So it really belongs to the exclusive judgment of the justice members, whether in spite of the manifestations about the insufficiency of the other grounds, they will still be voting for the sufficiency of substance of the impeachment complaint, no? I totally confirm that the way we are deliberating is per ground basis, the purpose of which is to give a better perspective to the justice members in deciding as to the sufficiency in substance. But nevertheless, when we vote, it has to be a judgment on the basis of the entire impeachment complaint. So it depends really on the justice members whether in spite of the seeming insufficiency in substance of one or some of the grounds, they will still be voting in favor of its sufficiency. No? I understand we have 6 grounds. All those 6 grounds may not appear sufficient, all of them, with respect to some of the members. But the moment they vote, it has to be a vote on the entire impeachment complaint.
Siguro, kailangan lang sagutin yung binabanggit, no? Merong debate kanina, tama, particularly doon sa estado ni Vice President bilang Vice President at paghihiwalay bilang DepEd Secretary. No, yun ho yung argument po no, ilan sa mga kasamahan po natin. Pero ang pagtingin ho natin, hindi yun tama Kasi, o pagka ho pinayagan ho natin yun, paano natin papanagutin? Yung pong mga acts ng isang impeachable officer na na-appoint to the cabinet. And to be very clear, yung pong ombudsman ho, meron siyang power to investigate impeachable officers, pero wala siyang power to actually discipline them. So ibig niyo sabihin habang tumatakbo po yung pagiging cabinet member ng isa pong impeachable officer, wala tayong magagawa para panagutin siya. That is basically the logic that some of the House members are trying to portray, no, kanina. At tingin ko mali ho yun dahil ang gusto natin, in each and every day that a person holds high public office, dapat ho lagi may mekanismo ng pong pagpapanagot. Hindi ho pwedeng i-confine lang ho natin sa Office of the Vice President yung pong acts kung saan po pwedeng magkaroon ng impeachable offenses. For as long as one is an impeachable officer, so ibig sabihin, for as long as one is president, for as long as one is vice president, wherever they may be appointed, if they undertake impeachable acts, they can be subject to impeachment proceedings.
In addition to that, I wish to reiterate the statement of Bishop Benny Abante, no? Kung narinig nyo kanina, this is actually for public consumption. I'm just going to reiterate the statement. Ang sabi niya, may isang kanang kamay at may isang kaliwang kamay. But the fact of the matter is, isang utak lang ang nagpapatakbo sa dalawang kamay. That is for public consumption on how you will apply that.
Thank you.